Today on Locked On Rockies, big manager news in the Pacific Northwest. Does that mean anything for the Colorado Rockies? Plus, big stage for the young guys. Doesn't really get any bigger than playing in New York for the Colorado Rockies when the seasons are going like 2024. How are they going to do? And what are we going to look for this weekend?
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 23rd day of August in the year 2024. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If you found us on YouTube, if you found us on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, really appreciate that. If you will enjoy or humor me and subscribe, hit that like button, tell your friends about the show, and let me know what's on your mind in the Locked On Rockies comment section as well. Just fire off your Rockies hot takes. Let me know what you are thinking about here as the Rockies entering soon to be the final month of the season. What are you trying to see? What are you hoping to see for the Colorado Rockies here in the long haul home? Home being the end of the season. We're going to talk about the big changes in Seattle and if that is going to signal a change in Colorado. And we are going to also, of course, we got Rockies Yankees. What are we looking for here this weekend? We're going to talk about that and more all on today's episode. So before we dive into everything today, let me let you know that today's episode is brought to you by SupplyHouse. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. So, for those that don't know, I'm in the Mariners region, and yesterday's big news was the fact that Scott Servais was fired, was let go here with time still remaining in the season, and it was kind of an interest. There's a bunch of different angles that are interesting to this. Doing it now versus the end of the season, is there a difference there? Is this a hopeful trying to spark a move and trying to get things going until for a postseason push? I mean, only 5 games back of the division lead with games against the Astros remaining in the season for the Mariners. So it's the window isn't fully closed, but boy, with the way the Mariners have played over the last week and a half, I mean, they have done all in their power to close that thing. But the Mariners looked at the situation and said something clearly needs to change. And the manager is always going to be the scapegoat in that situation first. It wasn't going to be Dipoto first. That was the big thing as I'm trying to fix my little curly Q mustaches on the video side. But you knew, I mean, Dipoto owned up to the offense struggling and took some heat, I think, the day before this happened. But the fact of the matter is, good managers can eventually become ineffective, or the times will change. Scott Servais helped break the playoff drought for the Seattle Mariners. He helped create an environment in which players were overperforming and thriving. But for the last season and a half, he hasn't been able to get the most out of his players. And the Mariners do have one of the biggest luxuries in baseball, which is not only a great pitching staff, but arguably the best pitching staff in all of baseball. And it started with a slow off season. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I think that's also for Seattle bigger than Scott Servais right now. They're a team that has front office questions, I think, just as much as the Rockies have front office questions. Remember, the Mariners have had a cursed history as well, even with great teams and great performances. So we can't forget that. But I bring this up because, I mean, Scott Servais was there for nearly a decade. He has the resume to back up, sticking with him through the tough times. It's not Scott Servais's fault that his offense is historically underperforming and swinging and missing at everything. But the manager is an important role. The manager it does play a factor into the vibes, into the energy, into the development, into the approach. All of those things. And the Mariners said it wasn't working. And unfortunately, he was the captain of the sinking ship at the time and needed to move on. At least try something different. It wasn't just Servais. They fired the hitting coach. So if the Mariners would do it against the guy that did a lot for them, will the Rockies move on from Bud Black this offseason? Will the Rockies move on from the guy that is what did he just let me scroll down, because there's a really good piece, folks, that you got to go read on Purple Road today that just really sums up this situation. Super, super, super good. Okay. I'm trying to get to this piece here because it's got this. Okay. Here is from As Black Passes Hurdle, Rockies Need to Pass the Torch to the Next Manager by Joelle Milholm here on Purple Row. On Thursday, the Mariners fired Scott Servais after Seattle tanked out of playoff contention since mid-June. The White Sox fired second-year manager Pedro Grifol earlier this month after an abysmal season. Black managed the worst team in franchise history in his fifth straight losing season. He's headed toward 100 again in year 6. Any other organization would have parted ways a long time ago. No one can lose this much and keep their job. On Thursday, Black managed his 1,160th game for the Rockies, passing Clint Hurdle for most games managed in team history. He also has 11 fewer wins. He's likely to pass Hurdle by the end of the season. That's where his numbers should end. Black's contract is up at the end of the season. Rockies fans know Dick Monfort thinks more about familiarity than winning. If he re-signs Black, nothing will change. If he can let go and embrace change, the Rockies could have a chance. And Purple Rose recommending Adam Ottavino. I haven't actually dove too deep into that, but that's a cool. They described it as a modern move, and then Warren Schaefer also mentioned here as well. But listen to the power of that paragraph again. By the way, this is, and we're gonna refer back to some pieces of this, because you got to go read this whole thing, because this piece is a perfect summary of where the Rockies are at and their competitors and the comparisons between the two. I want to just go back and read one thing again. Black managed the worst team in franchise history in his fifth straight losing season. He's headed towards 100 again in year 6. Any other organization would have parted ways a long time ago. No one can lose this much and keep their job. There has to be a negative. It can't just be if you're gonna just slap the rebuilding, retooling, under construction thing on it now at this point, it's too late. It's too late. It's not that Bud Black isn't able to create a good environment in the clubhouse. Clearly people like him. Clearly he's liked within the organization, but it's time for the Rockies to stop rewarding mediocrity and losing. I mean, it's not even mediocrity. The Rockies haven't even been 500. This is a Rockies team that has had 6 straight losing seasons. Why does that get what earns extension there? I'm sorry. And if it's going to be player development, show me, especially on the pitching side. I am thoroughly unimpressed with what the coaching staff has done and where the development of some players are. And I'm thoroughly disappointed in some of the regression we see often from players. What is happening with Justin Lawrence? I mean, are any of these guys, the Peter Lamberts of the world, going to take steps up and become more dominant? Are they going to add a different pitch? Are they going to change some mechanics? Are they going to do something in which that's going to make them into, again, I'm asking for quality here too. And the Rockies haven't even been able to get to league average in certain categories and in certain stats. And in fact, have found themselves at the bottom of leaderboards multiple times throughout these losing seasons. So the fact of the matter is, it's what is again, if you maintain the status quo as the Rockies have done time and time again, you aren't improving. You aren't under construction. You're stagnant. You're afraid of change. You're afraid of being wrong. You're afraid of something, and you're afraid of hurting the people's feelings that you've paid millions of dollars to over the years and given long-time job security. That piece is right. Joelle is right. No other organization would reward that amount of losing. Why is losing acceptable for the Colorado Rockies? Why does the front office set the standard that losing is acceptable? By rewarding losing. And I get the context here. And there are things to be encouraged by. But again, I'm just not. This season was a prove-it season for Bud Black for me too. I'm not seeing Bud Black do anything that's impressing me as a manager. I'm not seeing Bud until this week where he played the six-man young lineup. But we've still seen weird ways of handling the bullpen. We've still seen weird ways of handling call-ups. We've still seen, that's baseball, baseballisms, throwing your hands up and saying whatever. The Rockies are in desperate need of a change and new life and new energy, and Bud Black doesn't bring that. Bud Black deserves to finish this season, hopefully, ranking as the most wins and most games managed as the Rockies manager. The Rockies, there's no need to fire him now, but there's no need to extend him. And let's go back to that piece and let's look at some of the numbers here that they bring up and just kind of get a little bit more examples, get some more numbers stuff that you can look at other teams or look at what's working for other teams and what's not working for the Rockies versus just me giving my, hunky-dory soapbox rant here. Let's do that after we take a quick break. First things first, folks, got to tell you about Liquid IV, some of the folks that help make this show possible. And Liquid IV is a great way to help keep you hydrated here. I mean, it's still hot out there. It is still summertime. And so you want to get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. So what do? All right, so I got my little packet of Liquid IV right there, the lemon lime flavor. I went lemon lime. It's a little early, so I wasn't ready for the bomb pop or the firecracker yet. So got it. I know that my cup's a little bit bigger than 16 ounces, so I only put 16 ounces of water in there. I pour it in, and then I give it a little mix. Got my straw. And so right now I'm mixing in a bunch of electrolytes, essential vitamins, clinically tested nutrients that are going to turn this ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. So I'm mixing it up here with my straw. Then I'm just going to take a little gulp here. Adds a little flavor to your water, add some electrolytes, really good stuff if you're out there, working outside or doing a job in which you move and groove a lot. So check it out for yourself, and no more thirsty summers this when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. We are also brought to you by SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse is the site that's made for skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands. And you can get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person. Yes, a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And you can find, for your second listen, the Locked On MLB podcast, where Sully's going to be breaking down all things MLB for you, keeping you up to date with all things across baseball, not just the lovable Rockies here. And so check it out, Locked On MLB on your favorite streaming services and on YouTube. And hey, you know who's got you covered for all your Rockies play-by-play action this summer? SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Take it on the go. Take it wherever you go. You're good to go with Rockies baseball. All right, let's continue our conversation here about the Rockies moving on from Bud Black. And again, please go read this piece on Purple Row. As Black passes hurdle, Rockies need to pass the torch to the next manager. So here, compared to the loss-filled months of April and June, the Rockies really have played better since the All-Star break. Even though the sample sizes are vastly different, the Rockies were 34-63 before the Midsummer Classic and are 13-18 after. That's a .351 winning percentage compared to a .419 winning percentage in the second half. The Rockies have 33 games left this season, and winning will be a tall order with teams like the Yankees, Orioles, and Dodgers and more remaining on the table. Last year, the Rockies went 10-23 in their last 33 games, on their way to 103 losses. As the season went on, they got worse. It wasn't a good sign for the future. The last 33 games this season could be momentous if the Rockies can be closer to 500 instead of 300, and deja vu all over again if they can. In the time of the season when some teams rise and vie for the postseason, the Rockies need to finish strong for each other, for the fans, and for the future. San Diego is a team on a tear that has seized the post-All-Star break. The Padres have only lost 8 games since the All-Star break while they've won 22. During that run, they've scored 166 runs while only giving up 109. They have not only climbed into playoff contention, but with the Diamondbacks, they are pressuring the Dodgers. This is just with that stuff. But this is from CBS Sports. Mike Axis wrote about how the Padres reversed course. Axis points out how the Padres' biggest Achilles heel was falling in close games. Last year, they were 9-23 in one-run games. That's terrible. And 2-12 in extra innings. This year is 17-14 in one-run games and 7-1 in extra innings. And then to look at the Rockies here, this is what the Rockies are in those same moments. I thought it would be worth looking, and this is from Milholm's perspective, of course. I thought it would be worth looking at the Rockies' numbers in those same situations. Last year, the Rockies were 23-24 in one-run games and 6-4 in extra inning games. That was pretty good. This year, they are similar but slightly better. They are 22-18 in one-run games and 7-4 in extra innings. In early July, the Rockies were finding success against above 500 teams and losing to below 500 teams more often. That's no longer the case. Going by the current MLB standings, the Rockies are 29-52 against teams, winning teams, and 15-26 against the losing teams. Both have to improve, and the Rockies are ever to hope change their fortune, but neither is outweighed by the other. The pitching always comes down to the pitching. This is going to be the Rocky. This part of the piece it sums it up. And it sums up again the questions that Bud Black needs to answer, especially if the Rockies stick with him. The Rockies have the worst ERA in baseball at 5.54, a full 0.74 worse than the 31-97 White Sox. They give up the most runs in the ninth inning at an average of 0.55 per game, 8th, 0.78, 6th, 0.67, and first innings. They are 26th or worst in the second, third, and seventh innings. The Rockies don't have a stable or effective rotation. The bullpen is a disaster where no lead is safe. For years, the pitching staff from the first inning to the ninth has deteriorated. From traded players coming to Colorado to rookies making their debuts, the Rockies have yet to find many consistent arms. The common denominator is Bud Black. He's supposed to be the pitching manager. He's supposed to shape and develop pitchers. His job is to fill their toolboxes with strategy and mental toughness to pitch in Colorado. It's not working. The Rockies aren't polishing the pieces to build a better team. Black's methods are outdated and ineffective, from analytics and innovation to establishing a winning culture. With GM Bill Schmidt putting so much effort into loading the farm system through drafts and trades with players to bring winning back to Colorado, it's not going to matter if they aren't getting the coaching and research and development they need to set them up for success. Boom. And it's like I'm sitting here and, and I'm criticizing, I'm being mean. This is a bit harsh, but we are asking for results. We as the fan are disappointed at this stage because we have watched this under the guys that we have watched Rockies pitching be the bottom of baseball and terrible under the leadership of a pitching focused manager, under a manager that got success out of pitchers pitching at Coors Field in the past but hasn't adapted. Everything in that paragraph summarizes what we've preached time and time again about our frustrations on this show, where it's where's the development? Where's the preparation? Where the Rockies don't look like they have the same level of confidence, preparedness, understanding of the game and the situation than any of their opponents do. To be worse than the White Sox in any category this season is embarrassing. It's a huge problem. And again, another example where Bud Black should not be rewarded for being a pitching focused manager with the worst pitching staff in baseball. Neither should the pitching coaches. There really shouldn't be anyone on this coaching staff that's safe. Bam Bam, I would say it's a little bit interesting because the Brenton Doyle effect, how good Ezekiel Tovar's been, Tolia is hitting, the Rockies picking things up. That might be a different story. But bottom of the league, straight losing seasons and it's a great point made by the fact that Bill Schmidt has made a lot of moves and has been doing a lot of stuff to rebuild this farm system, which has improved in ranking from people looking at the farm systems. I don't think the evidence shows that Bud Black is the right person to lead the next generation of the Rockies. He got the Rockies he got the Rockies to back-to-back playoff seasons. He got the Rockies back into contention and almost to their first NL West division crown. But just like Scott Servais, just like a lot of other managers that have done a lot for teams but have had stretches where the team has underperformed, it's time for the Rockies to make a move. It's more they need to get creative because like the piece points out there, it'll be deja vu all over again if the Rockies bring them back. Man, really great piece from Joelle today. It is today. Really, really good stuff. It's really nice when I get to use these articles because then I get to they do so much great work finding the numbers that are just so relevant for us. And we're lucky that we've been able to talk to Purple Row a few times. We got to get the other people from Purple Row on. So many great writers over there. But hopefully we can start talking to some more Rockies folks again here as the season's winding down and where we're ending up with them. Anyway, let's talk about the game that's coming up today. Let's actually talk about the Rockies playing some baseball against a pretty big name team here coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, folks, got to let you know about some of the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes TonaI. TonaI is your new favorite workout. For those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. That's why you need TonaI. The smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most out of every rep. TonaI is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps get you stronger. Powered by AI, TonaI learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. TonaI learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. They even create personalized program and workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's like having a personal trainer at home with you, as TonaI will optimize every workout just for you. Unlike traditional gym equipment, TonaI uses adaptive digital weights to advance your training techniques. Right now, TonaI is offering our listeners $200 off your TonaI purchase with promo code LockedOnMLB. That's TonaI.com and use promo code LockedOnMLB for $200 off your purchase. That's TonaI.com, promo code LockedOnMLB for $200 off. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming service, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If your team's Colorado Rockies, you found us. So thank you for finding us, because we're here. We're talking Rockies baseball, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. All right, folks. To wind down the show, the Rockies are playing the Yankees. I mean, I mean, I think the bigger story here is, I think the bigger thing here is, because to be totally honest, I am not overly confident in the Rockies' abilities to win this series, but man, it'll be fun. Oh man, it's going to be fun. If the Rockies win this series, that is going to be fun, because just imagine what the New York sports radio would be like, or imagine New Yorkers, because they'll still be fine. Yankees are in first by a game and a half over Baltimore. So, the fight is on. But interesting to note here, for the Yankees, they just beat the Guardians there, but did lose a series to nope, wasn't a lost series. Yeah, no, they did lose a series to Detroit after that, and a game to the White Sox. They didn't lose. They also lost the series to the Angels. So, a couple of times the Yankees have struggled against bad teams, but this is the road Rockies, the 18-48 road Rockies, going on to take a New York Yankees team that in the last two ball games outscored the Cleveland Guardians, the first place Cleveland Guardians, by the way, by a score of 14-1. So Yankees, pretty good. Still, Carlos Rodon is on the bump tonight, 13-8 with a 4.34 ERA and a whip of 1.25 and 134 innings pitched, 148 Ks, only 44 walks on the season, giving up 24 home runs though. So there might be an opportunity for the Rockies to tag some long balls there. Yankee Stadium, certainly an offensive friendly environment there. The Rockies have some people that can put some good swings on them. We'll see if Brenton Doyle can launch another home run. Man, that was really cool to see all of his friends and family react to that home run in the finale against Washington. Always love to see that. The big thing for Rockies pitching is Kyle Freeland's going to get the bump tonight with his near 6 ERA, 1.53 whip, 59 strikeouts to 21 walks, giving up 11 home runs, is preventing the long ball. Aaron Judge, of course, is a huge threat there, but it gets deeper than that. It's you also have Juan Soto. Jazz Chisholm is on the IL, but I believe is going to be activated this season, or activated this series. And this is a Yankees team that has hit 195 home runs this season and a slugging of 439. So clearly a team that the long ball is going to be a threat. But an interesting thing to note here, Yankees pitching 427 walks to the Rockies 439. So if the Rockies can be patient up there, get their pitches, draw some walks, get some traffic, it's at least a visiting ballpark where the Rockies are in an offensive friendly environment. It's just going to be how are they going to handle the Yankees pitching, which has been dominant in their last two games, and it's the Rockies going on the road. So it's the big issue, the big deal for them. So that's the big stuff I'm going to be watching for here, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool for the young Rockies to be on out playing in New York. Being able to kind of experience what it's like to be in one of those big baseball environments, and all these reps against elite talent and good talent. I mean, that sets the stage. That sets the stage for the expectation for these young guys. For if you want to win in the playoffs, if you want to win the World Series, you have to be beating teams like the Yankees. You have to be able to go into these environments and be calm and be cool and make sure that you're able to handle the environment and the atmosphere. Especially a hostile atmosphere. The Rockies are going to be hearing it from the outfield about their performance and their skills, I'm sure, here in this game. So it's going to be a series of a lot of learning for a lot of these young guys. But Bud Black, keep believing in that young roster. We have to keep seeing it, even though we just spent a whole episode criticizing you. But again, could lead into that. But I wouldn't be surprised if I see Jake Cave starting tonight. All I'm going to say. All right, Rockies-Yankees getting underway tonight at 5:05, first pitch in Mountain Time. We'll be excitedly watching that because, hey, you know what? It's at least another example. Even if it doesn't go well, it's fun to see all the teams, and it's always good when the Rockies get a chance to go up against the big market team and, hey, pull off the upset. Get yourself closer to that 61 win total that a lot of fans are rooting for. Folks, that's going to do for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for joining us and making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB. Or if you want more Colorado sports coverage, like, I don't know, coverage about Bo Nix being named as the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, well, why don't you go check out Locked On Broncos or Locked On Avalanche or Locked On Nuggets or Locked On Buffs? I think just about all of those teams have something incredibly interesting happening about them right now. And folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.